Yeah, he's like
Hey, what's
trying to
going
be
on?
like
It's Pat
Jerry
Walsh.
Garcia or
I'm
something.
at the Cool Bean Studio right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. And today, another conversation. We got a super cool crew with us. Matt, you want to tell us what we're talking about today?
Sure, yeah. The last conversation we had was about stem cells and the various stem cells. And listen, if anybody likes this, you've got to subscribe to Pat's channel. You'll be able to see them. But I'm very happy about the conversation today. It's kind of the bridge between stem cells and therapies into how does it operate in the body. So we have a couple guests. We have Bas from the Netherlands, who's an icon. And we also have Mary, who's a tissue engineer. We're very happy to hear their stories. Bas, I'm very interested. Very interested
I wish it was that simple.
And he's doing comedy now.
I do, actually.
That's what I'm saying. Right? What is that show, real quick, just to give a shout out to the show that you're involved with?
Kevin Can Wait on CBS. It's going to be probably, if it's the same as last season, it's going to be Monday nights at 8.
Right on.
Fantastic.
I'm tuning
So,
in.
Bas, I know that just watching the Joe Rogan program and your interview with BJ Penn, that you've had a stem cell therapy. You heard about it through a cookout, and I'd love to hear the whole story. Can you walk us through what happened for you?
Okay, yeah. So as you can see with my arm here, the lower part is all gone. It's all atrophied, and believe it or not, this is a really big arm compared to what it was. But it's very hard to refire, so to say, the lower nerves here. So I was talking to some people who know a lot of people. It's always like that, and they told me about stem cells. And I was talking to the lady, and she said it's insane. It's like I'm feeling energy coming out of my fingers every morning. This is for months going on. I'm feeling really, really good. I said, well, do you think it's going to help with my nerves? Because I want to try everything now, because I went everywhere. I did everything. So they set me up in Panama. You go there, it's the blank stem cells from the umbilical cord. So they take your own identity as soon as they go into your body. Now, for my problem, it didn't do anything. There's something blocked, and a stem cell can't unblock things. And for instance, I did it on my knees. My kneecaps are bald. I have zero cartilage on my kneecaps. If I would have had a little bit of cartilage, yes, then it can start growing, and it grows into the cartilage that is already there. But if it's bald, there's no way for them to attach. It's not like I can use super glue and then you put it on there. It's not going to work. So it didn't work for this problem. But boy, she was right. It was insane. Like I would, after my third day, it was 4 days of shots. I had them pinpointed in my neck, and then in my knees, and then I did them intravenous. And I started the third time. I started feeling real energy in my stomach, and I go, wow. I called my wife, and I said, man, it's true. I feel like energy coming out of my fingers and out of my toes. It was really weird, and that stayed for a very long time, and I felt really good. And another great thing is that my cholesterol somehow, and I don't know because I don't eat bad, and but it was high. It was like 215, and they said you have to take care of that. But anyway, when I went to Panama and I came back, I said, let's do another blood test, and it was 160. I mean, we're talking about a 3 weeks difference. It dropped like 50 points almost. So that was really crazy. And then for a very long time in the morning, yeah, I had that energy. I felt really good. Everything was functioning really well. Unfortunately, a nerve is blocked, and they can't figure out where it is. And yeah, stem cells even can't unblock a nerve. So, but for the rest, it was awesome.
Yeah, so it's very interesting because you had it in some specific spots, and then you also. Do you guys have an echo from what I'm saying? Okay, maybe I shouldn't talk too much. But maybe if I lean back, it's not as bad.
There you go.
Right. Well, I guess I wanted to know, you heard about this through a friend in California. Do you have, like, also inside of UFC, the doctors there, do you know other people that are having stem cell therapy done in your world?
No, for what I understand at this moment, maybe it changed now. But when I did it, you had to go to Panama for it in order to do the umbilical cord stem cells. So nowadays, apparently, you can. There's some places here you can do it in America as well. I heard a lot about the spinning the blood and then adding your own stem cells and multiplying. Make copies and then put it in there and then go to a place, inject it in a spot where you have problems. I never did that. I just went over there. I did that. I believe they said it was 85 million stem cells.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a lot, I guess.
Yeah, that's So can I just want to say something. So your story is very interesting, and umbilical cord stem cells are amazing. I mean, you think about the fact that they're basically the magic that keeps a baby alive for 10 months, right? And so the baby is born. Recently, I would say since maybe the 90s, and I don't know if you guys are getting an echo or not. I am a little bit.
We're getting a little bit of echo.
Recently, since maybe the mid 90s, we have discovered a new source of stem cells. And they're actually in fat, which I have plenty of, and I've already, asked, can I please be the first person that donates?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
It's the doctor that did that is from Japan. His name is Yamakanana, right? Or something like that.
You're close. That's very good. Yes, that's probably how I would say it.
It's like, but the whole process to turn those, they're called iPSC cells. These are the induced pluripotent stem cells, right?
No, that's a little different. Those are induced pluripotent are a little different. So the cells that I'm talking about are stem cells from fat. You can actually isolate your own stem cells from your own fat. You can go through an elective surgery where maybe a liposuction or something very, very easy in the office. And I've done this for years. You can actually take that fat and you can go through a series of processes and isolate those stem cells. And then once you have them isolated, you can actually re-inject them into your body. So you have no issues with biocompatibility or problems of them being rejected because they came from you. So this is something that we are drastically and aggressively pursuing as a means to generate your own tissue back, especially in patients that are maybe breast cancer survivors or something like that. But
hey, Mary, can I interrupt?
Same thing.
Can I interrupt just 1 second? So we're getting some feedback. So if you're waiting and you're not talking, because some people don't have headphones, we could just mute your screen. Would be great. And then I just want to also introduce Mark. Mark popped up on the bottom of the screen here. Mark, welcome to the panel. Mary,
hi, Ron.
Keep rocking. I love it.
Yeah. So this is something that I've been involved in for about 12 years. My PhD focuses on tissue regeneration, utilizing stem cells, not only from fat, but from other sources. And as Matt was saying, we have what's called induced pluripotent stem cells. And those stem cells are basically, if you were to isolate some stem cells and say, you know what, I want them to behave a certain way, so I'm going to doctor them up a little bit, and then I'm going to re-inject them so that I know what the response is going to be. I have a favorable outcome ahead of me. Basically, they kind of, it's kind of like a handicap in golf. You set yourself up for a favorable outcome. But that is something that, especially in the area of muscle, tendon, ligaments, anything like that, regeneration of those areas, this is a very, very strong, promising avenue.
And when you say strong, promising avenue, because Bas already said that he had something he felt was blocked, so it wasn't really, are you talking about tissue, like creating tissues out of stem cells?
Yes.
So that the tissue could be applied and it actually, like they've done studies, Bas, where they put it on mice and on their liver tissue, and it grafts and it actually improves the function of diseased liver. So it may be that they could create muscle tissue, which is a certain cell type, and apply it in the clinic.
Yeah. So basically what we do is first we start off in the lab and we plate these cells. And after a certain period of time, we test them to see what kind of, we call them biomarkers. We test them to see what kind of biomarkers they produce. Each biomarker tells us what type of cell they want to become, whether it's bone or muscle or tendon or ligament. And we can drive that. We can actually say, you know what, we're going to control that. We want it to become muscle. So we're going to guide these cells in a specific way so that we know they'll become muscle.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
That would be something. I would love to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I do it every day.
I'm a candidate for that
go.
too. As I said,
Pat, you're on mute.
oh, yeah, I'd like to try that as well. I have some kind of that volumetric muscle loss as well. It's the same kind of thing that Bas has. What do you think it's from, Bas? Do you think it's from this? Like I had played soccer all my life. Do you think it's just wear and tear on the muscle, or what's the reason for that happening?
My reason is I'm looking at my phone. That's why, because then I can show you right away. My problem is I had 4 neck surgeries. It crushed my nerves in my neck. So if you, I don't know if you can see. Oh wait, there's too much interference, I think.
Oh wow.
You
But
got
I got a whole bunch of plates at the front and at the back, and this is over a period. It was really bad. I couldn't brush my teeth. I couldn't. You wipe your butt. You can't do that with your right hand. I mean, you got to try to do that with your left hand. Good luck with that. Or putting your seatbelt on. I literally had no power in order to put the seatbelt on.
Wow.
So I went from 3 pounds, which I could do 6 times biceps. I do 20 pounds now, and I do only 12 repetitions is now my record. But this is over a period of 5 years that I improved. So it's very little improvement, but there's improvement. So it didn't stop. So that's a good thing. So they're not dead. They're still working, but that's why they think it's squeezed. They explain it like a water hose. If you squeeze, less water comes out. Same with the nerve. It's squeezed, less action comes out of it, and that's why this problem is there. But sometimes I start in a weird position. If I hold brushing teeth or shaving my head, my hands start doing this. It starts all cramping really weird. I got to really unlock it again. But now I realized it comes from the surgery, because once I stretch my arm and I pull a little bit, it immediately goes away. So it's not a normal cramp. It has something to do with the nerve.
Wow.
Yeah. So your nerves are it's the electrical system of the body, right? I have 2 herniated discs in my neck, C4, 5, and C5, 6. And mine were from a car accident. And basically what they ended up doing with me was called a radio frequency ablation. And basically what they do is they go in and they kill nerves in a certain spot so that they can't affect other motions, but B, you don't feel the pain.
Okay.
Two is temporary. It only lasts about 9 to 12 months because your nerves do regenerate. That's what they're supposed to do. But the problem is that, again, once they come back, it's a temporary fix. So there needs to be better alternatives out there, long-term solutions. So, yeah.
So, Mark, what's going on with you, buddy?
Not much. Thanks for the invite again. I sorry to hear about all of these things affecting you guys. It's I've done a little bit of research before, academic research, and seeing some of the spinal cord injury, the way the muscle deteriorates. It's just like with amputation. You were talking about feelings and triggering. It's terrible to hear. But have you guys heard of Epibone? I know you guys know Organovo, but yeah, Epibone. They're also growing. They're doing imaging to get the anatomy for some of these implants, whether it's just the tissue or other things. It's getting these tissue scaffoldings, things that can go in and help with like the orthopedic implants, the liver, the other organs, and regeneration. It's going to come soon, and it's going to continue to increase. It's very interesting to see it. Pleased to see this topic.
I did see that, and I saw it on LinkedIn. Bas, if you want to get your friend Jack to open up a LinkedIn account, connect with us, because we're constantly throwing around the latest, and it's really amazing what's going on out there. I mean, the concept today was like, wow, Bas had like a transfusion with stem cells, and inside you don't know what that, that your cholesterol somehow was lower afterwards. That you felt energy like a 20-year-old.
That's wild.
like going like crazy, but it specifically couldn't help some of the injuries from all your years of just being a gladiator, you know. But there are certainly benefits potentially that are just mind blowing. I can't believe this guy isn't on tonight. He's going to be printing cardiac tissue, Michael. And I know that they're starting to print tissue. There's also, I saw recently where they just created liver tissue by kind of seeding an area, you know. So this can help for people that need liver transplants. You know, the ability to print skin is there for burn victims. And that stem cells in general have the opportunity to really change a lot of medicine, especially if they can deliver kind of some vectored cells that maybe change the dynamics of a person. So I'm blown away. I'm really happy that you're here. Yeah.
It's just great to hear that you guys are able to access it and it's able to come out and not just be for the patient at a experimental prestigious university that's, you know, Ivy class, you know, Ivy League walled off. You know, it's become more accessible to people that want to learn about it, want to be educated and find the right way. And that's what's powerful. Well, taking it out of research and making it available to people.
Hey, Bas, were you scared when you were like, hey, I'm going to go check this new, I'm going to get stem cells injected into my body? You know, like, was that like, whoa, were you
No, I've never that. I for surgeries also. Like I have a cousin now going to a dentist, but he has a really bad mouth. He was a heroin junkie, so they have to pull everything and have to put new teeth in. And he's like freaking out like a week before. He starts every day, can't sleep. And I go, wow, I never had that with surgeries. I always think it's for my good, you know. I never think something bad will happen. So, yeah, thankfully. No, I never had that. Plus, I saw the brother of the person who put me in contact with him, and he changed quite dramatically when I saw him. I mean, he looked really good, really young, and I go, it's insane. And I was also in Panama, and while I was there, you know, met Roberto Duran, and I met other people. It was really nice, but there was also a guy there who looked my age. And when I found out, I think he was 68 years old. And I go, man, how is this possible? But he does, I believe, almost every month. He has an organization, he does it, but he gets this, he does the stem cells. And I go, well, this is insane. I mean, I wish I had the money for that to do that.
Wow.
You know, like every 6 months, whatever, because you feel so good. And apparently it works also. His skin, everything looked perfect. So it's amazing. It's really amazing what it can do, and hopefully it's going to be available for a lot of people, which I understand now is going to be because they're going to make copies, right? And they can do it here with your own stem cells.
Wow.
And so I'm not really at liberty to say as far as some of the stuff that I'm doing because of proprietary reasons, but I will tell you that we are a lot further along than people would probably anticipate. I have had 10 knee surgeries myself. This is number 10. I was a collegiate athlete and I played 2 sports in college, and I tore my hamstring, 3 ligaments, all my cartilage. So, Bas, I'm bone on bone.
Too. My kneecaps are bone on bone.
And I hate it. It sucks. But and they actually tried a cartilage injection for me on both knees. My left knee, I had a little bit left to work with, so it actually was fairly successful. My right knee, though, done. I needed a knee replacement about 15 years ago. So that was my personal motivation to go into this field and figure things out. And
That's awesome.
like I said, I can't say how far we are, but I will tell you this: we are a lot further, and we will see it in our lifetime. Guaranteed.
Well, I noticed recently that there was legislature in Texas, I think, where at least I don't know if it's approved, but it was definitely put out there to be able to have your own therapies done in the US. Because that's why you had to go to Panama, because they could harvest cells here in the US, but you weren't allowed to do any procedures in the US. So Texas is the first state that is actively pursuing through their legislature to allow this to happen. And I think it just got approved like last week or something. So I'll have to check that out. You want to Google that, Pat? I don't know. Maybe we'll get to it. I mean, I don't know. You could pull it up on the screen.
I've been involved in clinical studies, reinserting stem cells. I mean, clinical studies with voluntary patients since 2011-ish. And again, this was voluntary, but they were their own stem cells that I isolated and we reinserted. And the outcomes were wonderful. They were substantial.
Was it for a specific disease or anything, or just in general?
It was for breast tissue, basically redevelopment, I want to say.
That is so wonderful that you're doing that. Really. What a difference that made in somebody's life. I know it.
My mom is a breast cancer survivor of 7 years now. She's been in remission. And, these were their patients' own stem cells. And your breasts are muscles. They're a different kind of muscle, but they are muscle. So again, it's the concept of being able to take these cells and they spit out a response, just like we do. We have pain, we have a response. These cells do the same thing, and they do it through these biomarkers. So if you understand, when it spits out marker A, that means the cell is angry. It spits out marker B, that means the cell's happy. If you can coordinate that and understand what it's doing over time, you can guide these cells to do what you want them to do. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Wow. I mean, you think the FDA would come off their, it's like, come on, get with the program, and right? I mean, Bas is going to Panama to have to do this stuff. We should be doing it right here and pushing the future. We want
the problem that you're going to have with that is that then other medication is going to be not more needed, and that's what they don't want here. They want to sell medication.
Right.
So once you heal people, what's the fun in that? They can't make money anymore. It's literally like that. If you look what they prescribe here in the States, if you just look at, it's an insane world. I mean, the opiate use, 80% of the 100% opiate use is in America. It's the craziest thing. So, they want to, it's almost like they want to keep you sick. I invented this lung training device that cured me from my asthma. As many people, everybody who's using it doesn't need their inhaler anymore. I was a severe asthma patient.
Wow.
8 days in bed, not able to eat or anything because I couldn't breathe. Like 24/7 for 8 days. So I had it really bad, and it's completely gone. Now I sent those O2 trainers to doctors who handle kids like me with eczema. I had a horrible skin disease as a kid, and asthma, because it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I said, maybe you can give it to some people, some patients, but my buddy started laughing because I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And I said, "Why are you laughing?" He said, "They're never going to call you." Why not? He said, "Because they can prescribe anything anymore." I said, "Well, I hope it's not true what you're saying, but it almost looks like it, because I sent it out to a whole bunch of people. I never had a response. It was for free. I gave it for free. I didn't even ask money for it." So
I'll get you a sale on one of those, because one of my buddies would eat that up, and I've been telling him forever. I'm like, you got to cure this on your own. Forget this, forget that. But he says if he gets winded, that saves, like he said, he would die. So how do you get someone? How would you get somebody to get off that? I mean, other than inventing something like yourself.
Yeah, the thing what you want to do, you want to use the inhaler, and as soon as you use the inhaler, the lungs are open. You want to train them. For me, I realized after an asthma attack, when I would resume my track and field, I would break my running times. I was a high-level athlete already at 16 years old. I was going to be decathlon. I wanted to be, believe it or not, the next Bruce Jenner, the Dutch Bruce Jenner. He was my idol. He was the 1976 Olympic gold medalist. So not anymore, no. But he still is that, So, but my lungs would feel better and I would run faster. And I could not believe why it was. Well, why is it the medication? What am I taking? And then I realized when I saw a picture of a drawing at a doctor's office on my lungs as a kid, you think the lung infection is in your lungs. It's not. It's the pipes that go to the lungs. They're affected. So now I'm pulling air in through a little tiny hole, And so I go, oh man, That's it. If I come up with a thing that can control the air intake, I can literally train my lungs to become stronger. And once I started doing, I was in 2-3 weeks using my prototype that I had. This is a long time ago, completely cured. I sent it to my buddy 8 days later. He didn't use his inhaler anymore. So I start saying it, but I say, listen, this is not medically, clinically tested.
Yeah.
This is my experience, so I'm not going to stand behind it. But I had people who had an incurable lung disease. I mean, I have reviews you cannot believe. People say they could never get better, and they improved 60%. The doctors go, it's insane. What did you do? Was using the O2 trainer. See, so it works really well. They're just going to have to do it. And it's a very simple thing. It's 30 repetitions in the morning. That's the only thing you do. It takes about 4 minutes, and you're done.
Right. Wow.
Reminds me of something that you do after complex surgery where they have you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So your lung capacity.
That little tube with the little balls in it, right? My father was on that.
You know how hard it is? Keep it between those two lines.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard, and it hurts because it's because of the surgery. Everything hurts, and that's why they let you do it. Of course, in the beginning, I go, I don't want to do it. It hurts, but once you keep doing it, the pain is gone. So it works really well, but that won't improve the lung function. Though.
You're so right, though. It's all about the money. It's all about selling, pharmaceuticals or whatever.
Here's my hope is that actually this conversation is part of a whole bunch of conversations on Pat's YouTube channel. So really, you'd have to listen to all of them to get to where we are now. But we started with regenerative medicine, which is just this concept of medicine and different therapies that all come together that'll help to regenerate the body. And it came out of the Methuselah Foundation, this guy, the concept to make 90 the new 50, like that guy you saw in Panama. But it's gonna be cells that can go in and clean up cells that aren't working correctly anymore. It's all kinds of different things that are going to be developed that will increase longevity. So I'm looking at my kids. I got 3 kids. I'm thinking they could go to like 140. Something like that. I'm serious.
We're going to 150. What are you talking about?
It's a matter of the fact that it's something I've been thinking about for 15 years. People are living longer, but that doesn't mean our bodies are equipped to do so, especially after what we do to them. I played 5 sports in high school and I played 2 in college. That about destroyed me. And now I'm in the field I'm in because of that. But at the same time, we have to find a way to handle putting these people back into the quality of life that they want.
Yeah. So, and then the concept is,
by the way, get older. Just throwing it out there, and the insurance companies and all that stuff. I mean,
they're gonna love it.
You can't let them dictate it. Unfortunately, it is.
They are. Listen, they're gonna love it because if somebody lives to be 140, right, and they're healthy up to they're gonna have an extra 30 years of people paying premiums.
Yeah, and they get their life insurance when they turn 100.
Right. So they'll have it set up that they're insuring you this whole time. They're loving it. They are collecting money over fist. Now the pharmaceutical companies aren't going to like it, but who knows? Maybe we'll see. The point is that
the pharmaceutical company and the government is one, right? That's where a lot of money goes. You understand that?
Yeah.
They're all in the process of change
Boss,
anyway.
I'm
so
right
who
with
knows
you,
where it's
man.
gonna go.
I'm right with you.
Yeah.
A little misallocated.
And it starts with trying to stay away from things that kill you. You got the GMOs and everything now.
Processed foods. Stop them with that, and you're going to live longer. That's already there.
Right.
Boom.
So I totally agree. Where people have to think healthy first. Stay away from all the junk, and then believe that it's possible to keep your body in shape. Get to the gym, which I haven't been to in 3 days, but and then. If we get some muscle degeneration or whatever, then we could apply some of these things, because I would love to try that stuff.
The problem is with the people, they don't want to go to the gym. They want to take a pill for it. That makes them look good instead of going to the gym.
Right.
Hey, Pat wants to run a marathon without doing any training. He's coming down to Baltimore.
I'm in the gym every day. What are you talking about?
And you're not running, buddy. You got to run.
You just said it. We got to record it.
I'm
I'm on it.
So wherever I go, I have to take him with me. So my exercise usually results in swimming or elliptical with him telling me, "Go, mommy, go, mommy, go."
Yeah.
I work only in the pool. I only work out in the pool with resistance tools. It's the only workout I do.
That's good for your joints.
Yep.
Yeah. we got to put ourselves in the driver's seat. I think that's the most important thing. Is you get to the gym, you stay away from all the junk, and then you kind of like tune into all these great things that exist. I mean, I know how many people, you're talking about your asthma stuff. How many people have asthma in the country or in the world? Like right off the bat, if you really want to get better, stay off that, stay off that and get in and start being a little bit more forward thinking and cure what you got by means of training,
But unfortunately, also nowadays, it's all short attention span. Nobody has the time anymore. Like I wake up every morning and early sooner because I want to go through this whole process that I do every morning, meditation, everything, prayers, I do everything. And they say, yeah, I don't have the time for it. I say, I don't either, but I just wake up an hour sooner. It's very simple. You got to make the time. If you want to work out, I can't do it during the day. Do it in the morning, first day in the morning. You got to make the step, but a lot of people don't do it. They say, I'd rather take a pill. Oh, this make me lose weight. Oh, take that pill. They're all jacked up, because there's a lot of bad stuff in that. It's insane. It's that people just don't want to do. I did an I was the fitness guru for Cartoon Network. 30-second drills. There was these little 30-second clips. Hey, guys, get off the couch. You're going to do push-ups. Who can do the most push-ups? Hey, we start doing the push-ups. Like these hyper little videos. But they don't do it. They sit there eating their hamburgers, playing video games, and they don't care.
Right.
Again, cholesterol is high, boom, blood pressure is high, take a pill. Oh, stop eating salt, do all that other stuff. That in other countries, like in Africa, when they go to like a tribe or something, they cannot find one single person with high blood pressure because they don't eat salt. They don't use salt, but they put it in everything here to preserve all the food, and we're just eating it. It's so bad.
Oh, and it's high fructose corn syrup was big. The corn bill that was a while ago just blew up these kids. We've got diabetes, adolescent diabetes. You never heard this in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Plus we were out running around, right? I mean, you guys, couple of you guys are younger.
I played with dirt and rocks and cars.
Exactly.
I spent time outside, and I'll tell you right now, my son is adopted. I've had him since birth, and he does not spend his time inside playing games and watching TV.
That's great.
We spend our time outside, playing in the pool, playing by the ocean, doing things outside, physical activity.
Yeah.
And that I will not have a robot sitting in front of the TV.
But it's not that easy for you, and that's why the other parents don't do it, you see? Because it takes time. We don't have time. We want to have a job, but we have kids. Oh, let's just drop them off and go back and go to work. I mean, the most important job in the world is to raise good kids, right?
Wow, Bas, way to go.
Let somebody else take care of it.
And I do it. I mean, that is, I don't sleep much, but I do it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, when I see stuff like these gym shoes with the wheels on the bottom, what the hell is that? I mean, that's just another way for us to get fatter than we already are. We don't need kids running around finding other ways to be lazy. I mean, that's just
all jacked up on soda. My buddy's kid, my best friend, he was a professional boxer. And he's got this little kid, he's like a 7-year-old skate phenom, and I'm like, you gotta stay away from the soda, dude. And he's like, Uncle Pat, what do you mean? I'm like, soda's not good. So yesterday we were filming something, and a guy collapsed on the pavement in Bryant Park, and he's like, the guy's out, and I'm like, I run over to him, and I'm sitting down, like I'm checking his pulse and stuff like that. So we go through this whole thing. They call the ambulance. We push him to the side. Basically, I get away, and I come back, and the little kid goes, Uncle Pat, what happened to that guy? I go, too much soda.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Especially if you drink the diet stuff. It's even worse.
That's what he was saying. Oh my God. Right from the get-go, I knew that was a sham. Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke. Oh,
Pat, since we were on it and you've got the capability, do me a favor, just Google Organovo and University of Virginia volumetric muscle loss. I just want to pull up that article real quick, because that's 2 of you out of the 5 of us are dealing with something like that. You might want to just see the link, and we'll take a quick view at something.
And while he's pulling that up, I mean, one of the things that has made me very passionate about what I do, and I'm very passionate about what I do, is that you can't just consider one symptom as a means to an end. You can't just treat, oh, they've got symptom A, I'm going to fix that. There are so many more factors that go into that, involving the person's lifestyle, their age, their gender, their ethnicity, their, likes and dislikes. Do they smoke? Do they do drugs? Do they drink? And I've been gathering statistics and looking for correlations with all of that for about 15 years now, trying to establish a good way to say, hey, look, regardless of your lifestyle, this is an overall treatment that could potentially work. That's one of the great things about stem cells is they go in with no bias. And as long as they're implanted properly, they have the potential to do the right thing. It doesn't mean they always do. And unfortunately, that's where continuous improvement, is needed. And that's what we're working on now. But at least the potential is there.
I'm going to let Bas be the guinea pig. I'm going to let him go in first.
I'll jump in right away. I would like to have this back. It frustrates me so much. And I learned to live with it now. And what I did as a kid, I had eczema on my hands and face and everything, but I knew there was always people who have it everywhere. Always people who have it worse than you. That was my way of coping with it. But and now I finally, there's a fighter with one arm, congenital amputee. I mean, this guy won 15 fights. He became a champion. He lost only once, and he submitted pretty much everybody. He stopped everybody too. And I'd go like, what? Am I complaining? I still have a hand. I can still use the hand, which I couldn't do for a long time. I couldn't snap my fingers for a long time, for 4 years. Yeah. Now it starts very slowly to come back. But yes, sign me up. I would love to have this lower part working again.
Yeah.
Hey, it was method.
I want to ask.
That's it.
I want to ask you, Bas, what about the eczema? Did you cure that, or you still have that? Because that seems to me like something that is also, I don't know, could be toxins or stuff from eating right, or I don't know. What have you learned to deal with that?
A lot. It's like the whole house I used to live in. My mom and dad was hyperallergenic. The special curtains, special floors. We had no carpets, no nothing. Everything was no dogs, no cats. Because if I pet a dog and I touch myself, boom, it starts right away.
Wow.
So food is very important. Dairy, stayed away from that. Pork meat, apparently, stay away from that. There's a lot of stuff that you have to watch out for. But I thankfully grew out of it around, I would say the most of it, around 17 years old. But then I still would have patches everywhere. Right. Like on my body, I would have every little patches. And when I came to the States, I was 36 years old. When I was fighting, you almost couldn't tell because there was just here and there. But when I came to California, I think it was the weather in Holland also a lot. When I came to California, within 3 months, it completely disappeared. It was really weird.
So with eczema, there's a lot of issues too with your immune system. Okay, so your immune system and how it handles certain things that it considers a threat. That's one of the results of eczema. Your body is very sensitive to exposure of things that it's not used to. My son had infant eczema. And after about 1.5 years, he grew out of it. But he still gets occasional things from stress. It's environmental cues, whether it's certain allergies or pathogens in the air. We moved from Ohio to Virginia, and all of a sudden he started developing eczema again. And it was more of it's an immune system response. You're used to it in your environment, and then it changes. And it could be either good or it could be bad, but you still have to adjust. But your immune system plays a huge part in that.
Yep. So Pat, let's go back to the conversation mode.
This one?
It's good to.
Oh no.
Huh?
That's the volumetric one. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we kind of read it. At least there's something being done in that area, and I just wanted you guys to realize that there's people that are working, and there might be more to learn there. But yeah, I mean. That's an interesting concept about being unable to get treatments. So hopefully it seems like there's a groundswell, like Mark was saying, where there's more and more, especially with the internet too, the spread of information of therapies that can actually start to make a difference. It's just a question of it can be commercialized,
I mean, without Bas talking about going to Panama, I wouldn't have known that you can go to another country and get it done. So
you can do it in Mexico here also, I hear. But I was a little bit afraid of that. But you can.
Yeah.
I know people do it.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yep.
Our guidelines are a lot more strict than some other countries, so that's why it's taken longer for it to really be acceptable here. That's why you always see things happening like in Europe before you see them happening here.
You mean the pharmaceutical companies have a little bit more power over here?
Yeah.
You can't say that, but I can.
Well, it's the FDA too, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The FDA is so
The
stringent
bureaucracy.
but they're also halting innovation. Like if they did it a little bit more free market, if I'm hurt and I'm like about ready to I can't take it anymore. I'm so if the pain's so bad, why can't I have someone do stem cell stuff on me? I have to go to Panama to get it done. Should be able to be in control and have the self responsibility to choose what you want to choose on your own. That's the way I think.
I agree.
I don't know.
People are thinking why they do what they do. You're in medicine to help people. You're not in medicine to sit there and wait to go through all these guidelines that government and companies set before you can actually get treated. You might be dead by then.
Yeah.
Well, and then there is a side to it that there's going to be a lot of charlatans that'll be out there selling stem cells as the next new cure to, all the things that people do wrong, and it's not going to work for a lot of people. I mean, they might feel better, kind of like Bas did with, inside, but it might not really do anything for them, and they'll spend thousands of dollars. So I think it ends up being kind of a specific treatment. But I know what you're saying, Mary. It's a holistic approach to the body, but
you're just playing devil's advocate. That's all.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Patient specific is one of the biggest things that I'm starting to finally see that evolution is taking place. We cannot sit there and look at symptoms and treat every single patient the same way. We have to take into consideration their background and everything else that's going on and do a patient specific treatment. And that's one of the things that is starting to we finally are starting to get the capabilities to do that. And in Bas's situation, a combined stem cell treatment with a neural intervention and pain center management treatment probably would have worked a lot better.
Interesting. So has anybody heard of any other situations like Bas went to Panama to get his situation, taken care of? It didn't work because of the blockage in his arm. But what about some out of the box? What are some of the great stories that you've heard about where stem cells has worked? Okay, Matt, go for it.
Well, I mean, somebody that Bas knows, I know Joe Rogan has something on his podcast where he had a bad shoulder he fought for a little while. I mean, he didn't make it in the big time, but he was doing a lot of MMA and lifting, and he was told he had to have shoulder surgery, from what I understand, and he had enough of the cartilage, I guess, that the stem cells did grow, and he says it felt great on his podcast. I'd love to hear his story, actually. I don't know if we can get him on here, but it would be cool.
Yeah, they explain it like grass, with cartilage. If you take a few pieces out of a grass and you put new grass in it, it grows in the other grass. And that's what happens with the cartilage.
You're right.
Mine are completely bolt. So then, they need to find a way to attach it to it, but they don't have that yet. So.
We're working on it with live CT imaging during the procedure and stuff like that. It's in process, but it's not to the point where everyone's confident to say yes, it's going to work all the time, every time.
How many years away? How many years away are you from that? Like he's talking straight up bald bone or whatever, bald muscle or whatever, however it goes.
I mean, as far as utilizing live imaging to assess a patient by patient basis, this is one instance. I would say we're probably about 5 to 6 years away. If we're looking at bald, like a situation that I know that Bas has and that I have, where you have no cartilage and we need to find a way to add some lubrication and joint treatment, that's a tough call. It depends on the approach. I would say maybe 10 to 15 years.
By the way, with the
US implementation.
Yeah, maybe somewhere sooner.
Yeah.
I was sharing a van every day with a father and a little child. And the little child, he told me about the kid. The kid was, hey, how are you doing? He was in my face. I said, oh, so what does he have? He said, well, a year ago, he didn't talk. He didn't do anything. He did absolutely nothing. There's no response when people talk to him. And he did the stem cell treatment, and they were back. They were going every half a year. And that kid immediately started functioning and recognizing people. So it does something really good for that as well. I don't know what he had, what the real problem was anymore, but apparently he did not react, no responses. He was in his own world, and that kid completely changed. It was a really outgoing kid when I saw him. So, and that was because of the stem cells, yeah.
The nice thing about stem cells is that they're very, it's kind of like they go into the body and they say to themselves, ooh, what needs to be fixed?
That's, yeah.
If you inject it in a site that is preferential to what needs to be fixed, so in his case, might have been the brain, might have been the neck, might have been somewhere around there. If you do that, they will find areas of abnormality, and they sense that, and they signal to those cells, and they go in and they try to fix it. That's their job, and that's what they do. That's why they're so amazing.
Yep.
Incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool to see, because then you're driving with a guy who actually is there every half a year.
Yeah.
And, that's working for his kid, and that's the worst. If it's you, okay, but if it's your kid, that's a whole different thing. You can.
Yeah, we saw a great story last week. We did just kind of a segment or a podcast only on stem cells, the different kinds, mesenchymal, the blood stem cells. And there was a great, our friend Sangs, who was on here, did a wonderful thing in India for this really poor family with this little girl who was going in for blood transfusions like every month. And she had thalassemia, which is a red blood cell disease, very much like leukemia is a white blood cell disease. And the parents ended up having a baby, and they used that matched the blood type. And they used the brothers, the new babies, stem cells, the cord blood, and they were able to give the girl chemotherapy and then replace all the stem cells in there. And she was living and jumping around, and she wants to be a teacher. It was so awesome. It's
awesome.
Yeah. It's
Mark,
really cool.
Mark, how about you? Jump in, man. Anything from you?
State of
Mark?
mind is a huge aspect too. I mean, people don't think it is. Faith and state of mind are a huge aspect. I've had several family members diagnosed with cancer, died of cancer, instances where certain treatments could have saved them, but we didn't have enough time. And when I see miracle stories like that, and I try to read them, I try to find them every day, it reminds me why I do what I do. And I love my job. I love waking up and doing what I do because I know it's going to help someone.
That's always badass. If you can help people with things, wow, that's the ultimate thing of charity, right? Keeping people alive.
Yep.
Especially when I get to come home and watch Here Comes the Boom.
Nice.
The crazy Dutch guy. Now I'm another crazy Dutch guy in the new show, so it's funny.
Yeah, tell us the name of the new show again, real quick.
Kevin Can Wait.
Kevin Can Wait.
Kevin Can Wait. I have seen it. Oh my God. Dude, you have no idea how much of a fan I am of yours. You have no idea.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's awesome.
Yep. Well, Pat has done a really good job. His whole intent is to take this information that we have live and to bring it out to people that wouldn't otherwise know about stem cells, potential therapies. This isn't the answer, but it might be a step towards the answer for the future, helping people. So that's really the intent of the whole podcast. So.
Awesome. Appreciate your effort, Pat.
Yeah, it's just having conversations.
Very much.
We're here to help.
That's
why we're here.
Just having conversations with cool people. You never know what's going on. I'm pretty excited because my boy has asthma, and he's like constantly hitting that inhaler, and he stopped for a little bit, so he started, because he's a forward-thinking guy. He's an athlete. and he pushes it to the point where he just goes back to it all the time. And I feel like, you know what? All he needs is someone like Bas that's a good mentor, or someone that he can go, wow, I can take. It's almost like you go to a weight room and you see these guys are all fat and they're like, oh, I want you to lift a weight like this, and you look over at them, you're like, I'm 51, I do 25 pull-ups, bro. Who are you talking to, But when you get to like someone like him, you're like, yeah, whatever, like I'm ready to go to Panama and get the stem cells right now. I want some like fire coming out of my fingertips, So you can see people and you can say, oh wow, I can listen to this guy. So when I tell my buddy and I say, Matty, this guy's an ultimate fighter, world champ, badass dude. Try his system, and he'll be like, yeah, dial it up. I mean, bring it in, wave it in. I'll buy it. Let's try it. So I'm excited about that because I know that this connection will make him not have to ever hit the inhaler again.
It's a freedom you have because I was exercise induced, they call it, right? So for instance, if I would start warming up in the dressing room before a fight, within a minute, my lungs close, you have to spray them open, and then they will stay open for a while, so you don't need them anymore in the fight. But if I'm somewhere and I sneeze very violently, like 3 times very violent, boom, my lungs close. So everywhere I go for my entire life, I had to bring an inhaler. It was always in my pocket, wherever I went, and now to be in a position that I haven't used an inhaler for 4 or 5 years. I don't even have it in my car, nothing.
Wow.
It's the craziest thing. It's such a freedom that you only realize when you don't need it anymore, because you get used to it. The stupid is always in your pocket. It's always there. And then if you don't have it, oh my God, if something happens, you start thinking about it. What if,
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. So curing is always the best thing.
I mean, I wonder who makes
Hey,
that.
Pat, bring our faces back.
What's that?
Bring our faces back. We're not reading this anymore.
Do what?
Take the stem cell thing down.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And I have Bas like representing, a group of people that people like me don't get to interact with ever. So knowing that there's someone like you who understands the struggle, what you've had to deal with, the amount of torment and the amount of pain you've had to go through, and that you could probably continue to deal with, and hearing that there is a solution and we're working on it, I hope that it's promising to you. And I hope you feel that comfort.
I listen, I'm a total believer in stem cells. I totally got it, even though when it didn't work, but I knew why it didn't work. But the way I felt, the way what happened, especially with my cholesterol, when it dropped like 50 points in a week time, it was the craziest thing. So I know it's doing good things. And exactly like you said, they go in and they say, oh, where's the problem? But that's where they go to. So it's amazing, but it's unfortunate because it's outside. You pay a bunch of money. If you want to keep doing it, it's just going to cost a lot of money. So that's why I really enjoy, just making copies, of the stem cells with your own. That's even better.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong with that.
That's called autologous stem cell therapy. Autologous, meaning it comes from you. It's automatic.
Autologous.
There's no chance of rejection. Autologous.
So we were learning, Mary, that you can get stem cells even from urine.
Yeah.
Which is
you can
wild.
Get stem cell. I mean, now I can't. I have never characterized stem cells from urine. Remember that everything that comes out in your urine is supposed to be sterile, unless you have an infection or a problem. That's one of the reasons that it is used for testing to see maybe what's going on with you. That's why people say, oh, well, do you have a kidney infection? I don't know. Go pee in a cup. If there's bacteria problems, yes. If there isn't and it's sterile, then you're good.
As long as you didn't eat asparagus the day before.
The promising, I will tell you this, and you can look it up online. You can research it to your heart's content, but I promise you, the future is in adipose-derived, fat-derived stem cells. And the reason I say that is they have the same potential as all the other sources, almost. There are some limitations, and we're still looking into that. But the key is that you can get those through elective, non-invasive surgery, and they are 500 times more abundant than umbilical cord cells.
Whoa.
500 times.
I'm with
So-
you. Mary, I am with you.
Huge.
Hey, listen, so if we come down there to Virginia, Mary, can you get some of my stem cells and we can bank them or something?
You know what? As long as Bas comes and I get to give Bas a hug and he just has a drink with me or something, I'm all over it. I'm ready to roll.
Oh, that's good. You can right away
Hey,
in the arm. They made it.
Like a signed shirt or something. Oh my God, you have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bas, if you come east, let us know because we'll make you a nice meatball sandwich and take care of you, buddy. All right.
How far is it from New York, Virginia? The car.
I'm in Virginia Beach.
Oh, that's not that far away. Oh, Virginia Beach. I was training the SEALs over there.
Yeah, I am very close to the Oceana, which is like the biggest naval base. So, yeah.
Because I'm going to spend a lot of time on Long Island. So the next 7 months, I'm pretty much going to be there for 5 months. So
Wow.
I would
Great.
absolutely love the opportunity to talk with you more, all of you, more about this. So
Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll do another one again.
Boss,
We do it every Wednesday. We do something.
Are you living in New York City for the moment and then Long Island, or are you out in
No, right now I live in California, and then I'll be August 15th is my first shooting day, and that goes on till the end of March probably. So I'm not going to be in every episode, but I'm going to be in a whole bunch. So I'm going to be traveling back and forth, but I'm going to spend the most time over there at the East Coast.
Great. Is it a comedy or is it like comedy action or?
Yeah, comedy. It's a sitcom. It's it's so funny because when I came to America, it's 20 years ago. May 5th, I was here for 20 years.
Yeah.
And they asked me, so you came here for what? I said, well, I want to, exploit. My career's going to come to an end. I want to see if I can do movie and TV and then see what I can do there. What is your biggest wish? My biggest wish, I said, movies or TV? I said, I think TV because it's a bigger medium. You reach more people. Yeah. And they say, and what kind of show? Like action comedy? I said, no, I would love to be on an American sitcom. Like a comedy sitcom, that would be my biggest wish. So my wish, apparently, after 20 years, it came true, and now I start shooting in 2 weeks.
Dude, you're awesome at comedy. You doing the yoga class or whatever?
Yeah.
I watched your street fight.
Well, I think it's good to dream.
I watched your street fight video, and I was cracking up, man. I was like, that is hysterical. Like I bang his head against this table over here like 10 times. How about that? It's hilarious.
Seriously, I was crying. I was laughing so hard I just started crying.
That's so good.
And it was all improvised. It was like I put some techniques down. It was just a video I shot really fast, an hour 45 minutes. We did. I said just let it go. We just shot. I never knew I did these sound effects. I never knew in teaching that I go bang bang boom. I never knew that. So from the 1 hour 45 minutes. One guy on the internet, he cropped all the sound effects into a 4-minute clip, and dude, I was crying when I saw it. It was so funny, and I tried to contact him because apparently he's a fan, because otherwise he wouldn't do it, I guess. And I said, "There's anything you want on my website, I'll send you anything you want." He has no clue. I think 85% of my jobs came from that because people who watch Cartoon Network, Grand Theft Auto. I mean, you can go on and on. Everything came from that. People saw it and they contacted me.
That's awesome. Well, I do a lot of stunt stuff in the city, and I'm working on a movie. It's a movie about an autistic man, but my next one's going to be a big time action movie in the city. So I'll have to look you up again, man. And I really appreciate your time, here today. And your story was exciting and spoke volumes to I think everybody that's watching, and our panel is pretty cool. So. I don't know. You want to go around one more time, ask any questions? I know. Bas he said he had to get going soon, so I don't want to, hog
I'm flying tomorrow to Texas. No, what is it? No, tomorrow to Seattle. So next week to Texas and then to Long Island. So we've been busy, but it's a good thing. The nightmare is we have a water damage in the house. Did you ever have that, like a pipe break?
Yeah.
That's really fun.
No.
Then they start cutting in the walls, and then asbestos comes out, and then you're going to leave the house.
Asbestos is good. That's good stuff, man. Asbestos?
mold
Eat
and
that.
fungus and all that
Eat
stuff.
that
Trust
stuff.
me.
So we're in the middle of that right now.
Good to get away from it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, we got to hear
Heavy
Mark. We got to
duty.
hear a little bit
Heavy
from Mark
duty.
though. Mark's on the bottom. This is like the Brady Bunch here, but Mark's on
Hey,
the
you've been
bottom
doing
here.
fine.
Mark, I'm gonna put you up there, man. What do you got to say? What's going on? And you know, give.
No, I've been enjoying it. I'm about out of batteries, so I'm going to go in just a second. But everything that you guys have been talking about, it's coming around. You were talking about imaging. That's the area that I'm working on, and we're actually working on imaging all of the body, all of the different organs and tissues, so that you can get a personalized digital physical exam. So to take that, to diagnose somebody, to look at how healthy you are, we want it to be that switch from sick care to well care and then being preventative. So it doesn't have to be a magic bullet. But yeah, love this format. Love all the discussions that you guys have, and I'd be very happy if you guys have round 2. Would love to do it more.
Oh yeah. Hey, we're just kind of learning, and we're just freestyling right now, but it'll grow. Technology's we're gonna get a little bit more grip on that, and we're gonna get more great guests like you guys, and I appreciate you being a repeat guest. So anybody out there, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and we're gonna have some really great conversations with some really great people. So I don't know, anybody else want to say anything here as we part?
I'm gonna go
I
watch.
just want to say thank you very much
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
I gotta do some. I gotta get on the Bas fan club, and what was it, Mary? What was that one that you liked so much? The movie that you said was so great.
Here comes boom! Oh my God, it's
Here
so good.
comes the boom.
Here comes the boom. I gotta write that one down.
Kevin James and Henry Winkler, and
Yes.
it's amazing.
Oh, I like Kevin James. He's funny.
As a lover of music,
Yeah.
especially,
Hey,
it is amazing.
Bas, how cool is Henry Winkler?
Dude, it was. I was thinking last night to write him an email to talk about. Listen, you have no clue how you changed. My life. He's the nicest guy ever.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. It's just
The
what a.
fonts.
Oh
Yeah.
man, happy days in Holland. That
Oh
was like
man.
happy days when nobody was on the street. It was crazy.
Yeah. I had a great conversation with him
I
one
mean,
time
I think.
in his kitchen, and I'm talking to Henry Winkler, but he
Wow.
makes you feel so just, I'm thinking, this is the Fonz. I'm talking to the Fonz, like the Fonz. And he's just so cool and down to earth, you don't even feel anything. You're just like,
Oh, I would annoy him so
Oh.
many times. So funny.
yeah.
I would have little things like Velcro, and he would do a scene, and I would be behind him like, and then see how long it takes till he notices.
Yeah.
It takes sometimes it takes like a whole minute because he. And suddenly he realizes and he goes, "Oh, it's him again." But he stole my chair every time. I had this anti-gravity chair that I bought. A really simple chair that you can buy somewhere at the Best Buy, for
Yeah.
45. It was a great chair. You float almost in it. And every time when I walk back, he was in my chair. You can't kick the phones out of your chair, right? So he stole my chair. Yeah, he was a good dude, man. I had so much fun on that movie.
It doesn't get any
You should-
cooler than him.
You should send that email.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to send it right now, actually, because today I was thinking about it again. I'm going to do it right now. Boom.
Thank
Guys.
you, Boss.
Mhm.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
That's good.
Awesome, guys.
All
I
right.
Nice
appreciate
meeting
it.
you
Thanks
guys.
for everybody's time.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
Peace.
Godspeed.
Cheers.
Party on.
Party on. One love.